Dogman? Mound? Dear Scary Stories NYC. I am from Wisconsin, yet I only have one cryptid encounter story to share at social events. It was a mad monster party though, so hold on to your seats as I tell you this one. Please leave my name out of it, as I don't want any publicity from this, and if I use any other names in the story, I'll fictionalize them. So this all happened in the later 1980s, I'm going to say probably 87 or 88. My cousin from Texas used to stay with my family a lot back then because his family was going through problems. My parents always treated us better when Tex was sleeping over, maybe just to convince themselves that their marriage had no problems at all. Mom and Dad had given me their old Nash Rambler when they bought their new 1986 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, which was a giant cruise ship of a car, as I recall. The other teenagers we knew would laugh at us as we drove around in our big old goofy-looking black Rambler, which looked even older than she was. Once we got out on the highway and away from the people we knew, though, it felt so freeing to be in that car that my younger brother Skip and I truly loved her. We kept her running until 1997. And then we were offered a silly amount for her by a rich collector who was going to completely restore the old girl. It would have been wrong not to give her that chance at a second life, and wrong not to take the man's money as well. Pardon me, as I wipe a nostalgic tear from my eye, and then I'll tell you the story of how I, my brother Skip, and my cousin Tex, while riding in that old Rambler, saw an entire clan of cryptids apparently being guarded by a North American upright walking canid, or Dogman. My daughter teases me about the fact that this story happened on a dark and stormy night, but it did. The three of us, Skip, Tex, and I, were playing video games and listening to the thunder crashing down outside our basement. Tex kept asking us if there were any spooky places we could go to that were nearby. I thought he meant haunted house attractions, and back then, we only had them around Halloween, and not that late at night. Tex clarified that he meant something like a haunted road, or bridge, or crossroads or something. It took us a while to understand that he was referring to what we now call legend tripping. I couldn't think of any haunted roads near us, but then again I was enjoying playing the video game inside where it was warm and dry. I didn't really want to stop playing to go outside and get drenched. My brother Skip remembered a story that another kid had told him at a campfire one time that said that the man-shaped mound at Man Mound Park was haunted, and that spirits gathered there at night. I asked Skip why he never told me that legend before, and he scoffed. If it were real, there would be photos of the spirits, he sneered. I'm sure it's only a story. My younger brother was always more of a materialist than me. He was like Alex Keaton. Was that the character's name? He only believed in himself and in money, and he's had a quite successful adulthood as a result. My brother Skip was not scared to go out in the rain to a haunted location. He was only concerned that I drive safely so that we didn't hydroplane. And so off the three of us went into the thunder and lightning, and I have to admit that the electric weather was making my hair stand on end. I was getting chills every time more lightning flashed, and I could appreciate how much the other two were enjoying our ride. Sure they were. They weren't the one who had to keep us out of accidents in the driving downpour. It was not easy to see very far, as the rain was coming down so hard at the time that it was almost like driving underwater. So we reached the park, which is interrupted by the highway. I think I'd better pause here to explain this very unique and ancient site, as I now feel that it directly relates to the Dogman. Now, the Man Mound in Man Mound Park was not considered a landmark by the government until they had already built a highway running through the legs of the effigy back around the turn of the previous century. These images I'm showing here attempt to clarify where the humanoid shape once existed and which parts of it still do. On this metal sign from 1908, when the site was first officially recognized and protected, you see the basic shape of the original mound illustrated. Now look at those ears up on top of that head. Normal men do not have ears like that. I'm trying to think what humanoid does have ears like that. Well, Finn from Adventure Time has ears like that, but he wasn't around thousands of years ago. Harvey the Puka from the famous Jimmy Stewart movie was around thousands of years ago, but I think he was living in County Kerry in Ireland. All joking aside, when I look at the manned mound these days, and I see those ears, I know I think of the Dogman. For that reason, I hope you'll forgive me when I refer to it as Dogman Mound. Now let me explain the reason I think that may in fact be an effigy to the ancient precursor to today's modern Dogman. It was because of what happened after we drove away from the man mound effigy. The mound doesn't stick all that far above the road, so it's somewhat hard to notice from a car. They have the bottoms of the legs painted on the blacktop of the road and marked off as white in the grass beyond on the other side of the highway. From above, it sort of looks like the Dogman is wearing tall white disco boots, or maybe he has his white gym sweat socks pulled up really high. To be honest, it's hard to make out much of anything about the man mound from the road, even on a sunny day, so we grew frustrated even understanding the contours of where this thing started and ended. We certainly weren't seeing any ghosts or spirits, but we sure were getting rained on. Eventually, we just decided to drive on in the rain and look for spooky-looking wooded places to drive through. So, in the direction we were heading, we ended up driving on the 84th Division Rail Splitters Memorial Highway, which runs right by the Lower Narrows State Natural Area. Now, there's this space over there where you have trees and woods packed in tight on your left. That's the State Natural Area. And on your right is a large field leading to another forest. Well, on the road in front of us as we turned toward that section of the highway, I slowed down because I could swear I was seeing a man, or at least a figure, blocking the road ahead of us. I wondered if there had been an accident, and if the man was trying to stop us from crashing into it. As we got closer, though, the man looked less and less like a man, and more like something that I couldn't explain. My cousin Tex said we were looking at a loup-garou, but at the time I didn't know what he was talking about. I had not heard the term before, and I do not speak French. When he kept saying, "Loup-garou, loup-garou," I told him to shut up in a very rude fashion. My brother Skip pointed out that there were others approaching, walking across the field from the woods. I wanted to know what was going on, so I decided to roll up a little closer to that big, strange-looking man and just ask him, "Why are all you guys out in the rain?" That's what I wanted to know. So I gave the car just a little gas and we rolled slowly forward. I was going to roll down the window when we got close enough, but a sudden bolt of lightning crashed down, illuminating the entire scene. In that brief moment, I saw the man, and I saw that he was not a man. He wore no clothing, and he was covered in hair, yet his dripping wet body held a mostly humanoid form. Humanoid, that is, except for his very wet head, which had two pointed ears on top, two glowing eyes, and a very long dog snout. We were looking at an upright walking canine. We were seeing the Wisconsin werewolf with our own eyes. So I hit the brakes and I stopped rolling toward the large dark figure. We watched in silence as a parade of entities that I suppose I would call cryptids walked across that field, across the road in front of us, and into the woods on our left, into that state natural area. I can't describe to you what I saw in this version of the story, but I will write up in greater detail what we saw so that you can upload it to your uncensored members only channel. It was too disgusting to describe here, take my word for it. All the while, the Dogman served as some sort of a cryptid crossing guard. We watched as these creatures marched in front of us for a while. Then, Tex absolutely freaked out at one point and tried to grab the steering wheel from the passenger seat and turn us around. I had no choice but to back away from that procession and make a U-turn to get us the heck out of there. I've never seen anything like that since, even though I've lived in this area for my entire life. Then again, when it starts storming around here these days, I close my windows and I hide away inside my house. I've learned my lesson. I don't go legend tripping out in the wilds of Wisconsin any longer. And I most especially don't go looking for trouble in the vicinity of Dogman Mound Park. We hope you enjoyed that creepy Dogman story, and if you're a channel member, don't forget to check out today's secret uncensored story, linked to you from our community page or in your email if you're a PayPal Club member. It's especially creepy, too much for this channel's version of the narrative. And if you did enjoy this episode, please join me in thanking today's executive producer, Sandra Freeman. Thank you too, dear Sandra Freeman. Your help banishes the demons. In return for helping us stay online, Sandra Freeman receives all our perks, including secret episodes, advanced previews of episodes, and our over 25 hours of archived secret uncensored scary Dogman stories available nowhere else. So how can you join the great Sandra Freeman in victory and eternal glory? Why, here's international TV spokesmongrel Henry Lee Dogman to fill in all the rest of the deets. Thank you. Thanks for watching till the end. If you liked what you saw, please consider clicking like on the video or sharing it with your friends and family that you think might also be interested. If you would like to see more of our work, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that YouTube will alert you when we put out a new video. To become a channel member and gain access to our special perks, you can click that join link under each of our videos. Another option is to join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. You can join for as little as 99 cents on YouTube or $1.50 at peterbernard.com, and that gains you access to our weekly secret uncensored episodes. If you'd like to see our 21 hours of archives of uncensored Dogman stories, then please join at the $3 level or above. To get to watch our shows in advance of the public, please join at our $10 level. That gets you all the perks. If you join our channel memberships, you need to check our community page here on YouTube in order to get the links to the secret videos and other perks. If you're in the PayPal subscribers club, Peter will email you all the news and links himself. Once joining the PayPal club, which is Peter's homemade club, please give him a chance to see that you've joined and to compose you a personal welcome email, as none of that is automated. But whichever you join, we'll name you an executive producer for the next available episode. Do you have a scary experience that you'd like to share with us? You can email us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or call our Scary Stories voicemail hotline at 804-LA-SCARY. That's 804-537-2279. It's a Google voicemail box, so that means it keeps cutting off after every 3 minutes. If your story is longer than that, please keep calling back and we can piece it together on our end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
more scary stories.